guys, my name is Lily. Surprise, surprise, a long time ago, I did make a whole bunch of YouTube videos. They're all private now, so nobody can see them. Just for me to see if I ever want to look back. I really don't want to. But I've decided to come back and do kind of a mom-based channel. I'm very, very excited about that. I now have almost a 2-year-old, and I have a very happy family of 3, myself, my boyfriend Ben, and our daughter Adeline, and she is such a blessing to our life. I thought I'd come on here and kind of talk about my labor and delivery story for anybody that might want to know. I had a very scary labor and delivery, so I thought it'd be something awesome to be able to share and see other people's experiences, and if anybody's gone through the same experiences I have. So we'll just get right into this. It's probably going to be a little bit of an awkward video for me. I haven't filmed in probably a year. So I hope it goes well. So I was 26 weeks pregnant, and I had already known I was going to have a girl. I had names that I loved, but I didn't have a specific name that I loved. And I was actually staying over at my boyfriend's house. If you also want to know this, it's kind of an add to the story. I was 18 at the time. I was in high school. I was pregnant, so I was a teen mom to be. Hopefully, I was supposed to be 19 by the time I actually had her. My due date was July 16th, 3 days after my birthday. It was exciting because my baby was gonna have a close birthday to me, a summer baby. It was all very exciting. And I was 26 weeks pregnant. It was April 8th that I had a lot of pain, a lot of cramping, and I was not sure what was going on. I didn't know whether they were contractions, whether they were Braxton Hicks contractions. I'm a first-time mom, first time ever pregnant, so I didn't really know what I was feeling, what I was expecting. I stayed the night at my boyfriend's house that night because I was in so much pain. I could not drive. I did not want to go home. Like, I was in so much pain. So around 1 o'clock in the morning, I call the hospital to speak to the on-call doctor, just to kind of get an idea of what I needed to watch for if something was happening. They told me to time my contractions, but I was 26 weeks pregnant, so there's no way I was in labor. If they did get closer, if I noticed any bleeding or anything, then to go to the hospital. So we'll go to the next day. Next day I felt fine. I actually babysat a few of my cousins the next day. It was like, oh, nothing was wrong. I was just overreacting. And then we go to April 10th. And I had spent the day with my boyfriend. I had come home. My mom was actually doing the dishes. I remember this day vividly. Like, I remember everything that happened this specific day because it was so boom, boom, boom. All of this is happening so fast. And my mom was doing the dishes, and I was like, I don't feel good again. My stomach's doing that cramping. I had told my mom, and I was in my room. I was timing the contractions. I just felt like they were very, very close. And in my head, I'm thinking, Lily, you're just crazy. Nothing's wrong. It's all fine. It's all gonna be okay. And I go to the bathroom, and it was just so much blood that I was not expecting. And it was the scariest thing that's ever happened to me. And I'm like, the first thing when you see blood, when you're pregnant, especially the amount of blood that I saw, was, oh my God, I'm either having a miscarriage, something's wrong with me, something's wrong with the baby. So I immediately go out to the kitchen. I'm like, Mom, we have to go to the hospital. I don't know what's wrong. And we go to the hospital. We're in the car. My stomach was just cramping so bad. I was having very many contractions. I probably had a good 4 contractions on the way there. And from my parents' house to the hospital, it's probably a 7-minute drive. So we get to the hospital. We go to the emergency room. We called to let them know I was on my way. And they immediately took me up to labor and delivery. And as soon as I walked out of the car, just took 2 steps out of the car and stood up, just blood just gushed out of me. So we knew something was wrong. So I had walked into the hospital. They put me in a wheelchair, took me to labor and delivery. My doctor was not in, but the doctor that was in, she was amazing. She delivered my baby. She was awesome, and I would definitely use her as an OB doctor again if I ever had the chance. So I get wheeled up, she checks me, and I was 7 centimeters dilated. So from the 8th, when I thought I was in labor, they said that I was most likely in labor that day. And if I would have came in, they probably could have stopped the labor. So it was very upsetting to know that I thought I was in labor and I was in labor, and I could have stopped it, but they had told me there was no way I was in labor. And it makes sense, 26 weeks pregnant, you shouldn't be in labor. You shouldn't. And so she checked me and she told me, you're having a baby today. We cannot stop it. And scariest thing ever, you're hearing you're gonna have a baby when you're not supposed to have a baby yet. And they had told me, there's possible chance of a lot of risk for you. There's a lot of risk for the baby, and we have to let you know your baby is just on the cutoff for that premature baby living. And they consider premature babies 24 weeks is the cutoff for living babies. So, I was in tears, in shock. My mom's in tears. My grandma's on her way. I couldn't get a hold of her dad. Her dad was at work. So, Ben and he had gone to work. I was with my parents, and I was at the hospital calling and calling and calling. And of course, he's not answering his phone because he's working. And finally, we get a hold of the place he worked for. They told him, you gotta go, you're having a baby. And he left, and he was there within minutes. My dad was at work. My dad was there within minutes, because it was a very scary time, and everybody that wanted to be there for me was there, and it was amazing. And then they checked Adeline in my belly, and she was actually breech. So there was no way that I was gonna have a vaginal birth. So I had to have an emergency C-section. They wanted to fly me to a bigger city where there was a bigger hospital that dealt with premature babies, because where I live, it's a pretty big city, but it's not, they don't specialize in premature babies. So they would have loved to be able to fly me there. They did not have time because of how fast I was moving, dilating, and so they wheel me in. They didn't have time to give me an epidural because it was all happening so fast. I just kept dilating. When they got me back to deliver or do my C-section, they checked me, and I was already 9 centimeters dilated, and I was at the hospital. I went to the hospital at 7:20 something, and I had Adeline at 8:04. So it all moved very, 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 very fast. So by the time that bigger city's hospital had made their way to my city, they sent by ambulance and got to my city. It takes about an hour from them to get to us. My parents timed it to see how fast, if they would get there in the amount of time that they did, and they got there right on the dot when my hospital had said they should be here. I had Adeline before the team had gotten there, and that was very scary as well, because you never really know what you're gonna expect when they, take out your baby, and I'm asleep. Everybody's standing in the lobby. There was tons of doctors and nurses that stayed longer because it was such a scary experience for everybody, and they needed backup if they needed it. And so Adeline was delivered. I don't want to say it was 8:04, but when you're a mom, you forget a lot of stuff. And I think it was 8:04. If it was not 8:04, it was somewhere in the 8:0 something. It might have been 8:07. Now that I say that. And then Adeline came out. She was not breathing, and they were trying very hard to get her to breathe. And that team in the Indy got here just in time to get her to breathe. They got her all hooked up and put in her little, I called it an incubator, little case that she was in. And her dad had gotten to, touch her, and I had just woken up by the time they were gonna take her, so I saw her for a minute. They took her to the bigger city. They got her all set up there in the NICU, and she was in the NICU for 3 months. It was a very scary experience as well, but my baby did so good in the NICU. She didn't have a bad day, and that is something that's very hard to say for a lot of kids, is there is not a bad day. She's healthy, she's almost 2, she is such a smart baby, and I am just very blessed to be able to say that my baby is alive and well and has all 10 fingers and all 10 toes and is just such an intelligent little girl for being the age she is. I am very thankful for all the people that were there for me. I'm very thankful for her dad and our relationship. And I would not be where I'm at in my life without my daughter. She was in the hospital for 3 months. And it was July 3rd of 2017 that I had to kind of think, when was she born? It was July 3rd of 2017 that she had come home. And she just grew faster and got bigger and has become this so smart and intelligent little baby. She's almost 2 now. She will be 2 April 10th. And I just can't believe that from my little itty bitty, I never told you guys how much she weighed or how long she was, but she was 10 inches long. So you have to think of 10 inches as like a ruler is 12 inches. So she was shorter than a ruler. She was 1 pound, 10 ounces. She is a chunky little baby, big thighs. She's in gymnastics now. She goes to school. She is just the smartest. So that was my labor and delivery story. If you want to see more content from me, that would be great. Just tell me any videos in the comments that you'd like to see. I am very excited to be back in this YouTube world and make videos. I actually recently purchased a new tripod, and I kind of want to do more vlog style videos, I think. Vlog my days, my family, Adeline growing up, because that is just something amazing to be able to have on camera. I'd love to have everyday vlogs on camera, just everything Adeline does, and to watch her grow and to be able to look back on these videos. So if you guys would love to see more videos, please give this video a thumbs up. You can also like and subscribe to my channel, and you can also follow me on all social media. I will have it all linked in the description box. I will see you guys back in the next video. Bye!